What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse range, no hate. So we're getting closer to this fight with Hasim. It's Hasim. He actually clarified that in an interview. It's not Hasim, it's Hasim Rahman. Okay. So Junior versus Jake Paul. Now I want to play this clip. It's like 4 minutes and some change from their press conference, their final press conference. I want you guys to hear what was said, and I want to explain some things to you and take it from there.
I'm here to end this facade that he's calling a career.
Sparring isn't fighting because, I mean, you're probably a little bit nervous about what happened. But obviously it's...
What happened?
Obviously,
What happened?
Obvious,
What happened?
Obviously
What
it's
happened?
different.
Nothing.
Under the lights...
You be bringing up the sparring. You the one posted the sparring. Don't turn your back and run like you did when we sparred. Don't do that. And I will be using both hands.
You'll
Trust
see.
me.
You'll
and
see.
I will be using both hands.
You'll see. I got something for you.
I only use one hand when I sparred him.
Oh, man.
I only use one hand. He can't even spar nobody with one hand.
I would just love to put out this footage.
He can't even spar nobody with one hand. He's not even at that level. I boxed this man with one hand behind my back, and I boxed this man with one hand, and I promise you, he turned his back. He turned his back and ran from me. That's what's going on in his whole camp. That's all they do. Look, Rock. Don't do this. Don't switch southpaw. Don't sit here and say you don't, because when I spar you, you do the same thing. It's always a handicap, and that's what I was trying to tell him. It's a handicap in here. Don't get too, you know what I'm saying, too confident. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I've been trying to help him since I came here, but he thinks he's, I don't know what he thinks is going on, but he definitely barking up the wrong tree. Why I couldn't turn southpaw when we sparred? Why your corner and your trainers and you were so adamant about
You turned southpaw in that too.
Not.
We had the footage.
I did not. Go show it. Show me some.
We
show me
had the
turning
footage.
southpaw. Show me turning southpaw, please.
We have the footage, but I'm
And
gonna let.
please, when you do show the footage, when you show the
let the fans
footage,
see
when you
August
show the
6th.
footage,
I'm gonna let
post
the
the
fans
footage
see
of
the
you
footage for
turning
the first time
around.
August 6th.
Show the footage of you turning around. As soon as you get the back
You got your ass beat and you know it.
How? You ain't here jumping on top of turnbuckles. There's no winner or loser in sparring. There's no winner or loser in sparring. So what are you talking about? I was there to work with you, to actually help you get confidence to go against a guy that was 5'5" with no fights. So what are you talking about? And I still was handicapped, boxing you with one hand. Go watch the tape.
Then why
I didn't even use my right hand.
Then why were you
I didn't even use my right hand.
Why were you
when
so
I
mad
backed you in the corner.
Then why were you so mad after?
When I backed you in the corner.
Why were you so mad
Why
after
you turn around and run? Why you turn around and run? Who runs in a boxing ring? You ran like we was in a track.
After?
He's a runner. He's a track star. What's going on? Why are you running in a boxing ring? Do you know how to box? Have you learned that yet? You learned that you can't run yet?
You're gonna see.
Have you learned that? Have you learned that much yet? That you can't be running in the ring? You learned that yet? It only been 18 months.
And you will win.
Don't forget you gotta stack that.
And that's what I'm proving.
You try to bring me down to cruiserweight, and then put a rehydration clause in the contract. Don't forget about none of that.
You already
Don't
making
forget none of that. It's take it or leave it.
Why you already making
Don't forget that's take it or leave it. That was take it or leave it.
Why you already making excuses for
I'm
yourself?
not making no excuses. I'm telling you.
Sounds like you're making
excuses. Because you leaving it out. Because you leaving it out. Let the people know.
Excuses as to why you
Let the people know.
Excuses as
You always talk about, oh, he's bigger than me. Oh, he's bigger than me. Oh, he's a heavyweight and all this and all that. That's cut because we coming to cruiserweight. Thank you. Thank you. But you keep calling me a heavyweight.
Sit the fuck down.
But you keep calling me a heavyweight.
Recording me like a fan.
Why you keep calling me a heavyweight? Why you keep calling me a heavyweight? Talking about how I'm a heavyweight if you're not fighting me a heavyweight. If you was really that, you would have fought me a heavyweight.
What weight class?
If you was really that, you would have fought me a heavyweight.
You sound so stupid.
If you was really that, you would have fought me a heavyweight. It wouldn't have been no, oh, let's bring him down. You seen I just weighed 224 in April. It wouldn't have been no, oh, bring him down to 200 and make sure he can't go up over 210. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. You put a 10-pound rehydration clause in the contract? Stop playing.
The last fight
Jake,
you ever
scam
take.
people, bro.
The
What are you
last fight
talking
you
about?
ever take, bro.
If I was scamming people, I wouldn't be
so
broke.
Stupid.
If I was scamming people, I wouldn't be broke.
Begging me for more money.
What are you talking about? I didn't ask you for nothing.
Begging me
I didn't
for more
ask
money.
you for nothing. I didn't ask you for more money. I never asked for more money. So what are you talking about? I never asked for more money. I took the lowest amount at the highest level. I'm the highest level opponent you face, but I'm getting the lowest amount out of anybody you ever
No one knows who the fuck you
Why you buy my followers? Why you buy me followers then?
You have 5,000 Instagram followers 2 days ago.
Why you buy
My mom
me
has more followers followers than you, bro.
Boxing
no
don't
one
have
knows
nothing
who
to
you
do
were.
with followers.
You're not worth shit.
Boxing don't
This
have
will be
nothing
the
to do
last
with
time
followers.
anyone ever
fighting
hears
if you
of
got worse shit.
Boxing don't have nothing to do with followers.
All right.
Okay, y'all. So this is gonna be the last video I'm making till, of course, till after the fight. Let me say this. First off, for what Jake Paul has been able to accomplish on the business side of things, people are talking about who he fought, and it's like, do you guys realize he fought Nate Robinson as well? Okay, a basketball player who had no fights, and Hasim Rahman Jr. was the one that was training him for that as well. Now, Jake is not, like I said, just starting to train. He's been training for a little while now, and Jake overall. Let me get to this, and I'll get back to that. Okay, so just to clarify things, I'm not going to go play the other video where Hasim Rahman is being interviewed. He basically didn't talk about a lot of things. The head games that they try to play. It's certain things, like I feel like if you have skills, you rely on your skills. A catch weight is one thing, but trying to drain a fighter is something else. And then to give your opponent things to worry about where they're not focused on the fight itself. For example, he basically they called Hasim Rahman, they pulled Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua situation. They told him he had 45 minutes to take the fight, or he's never going to fight you. If you either accept it right now, or the fight's not going to happen ever again. So he's telling them, no, look, give me a couple. I'm going to call y'all in 2 hours. Let me, he didn't get a chance to call his attorney, his dad, nobody, nothing to, let's work this thing out. Let's talk it over. 45 minutes. So he took the fight. Now, they called him and said, look, asked him what his weight was. And they asked him, could he come in as a sparring partner for him to fight Anderson Silva, who's a southpaw. And basically, he winds up telling him, like, my weight now, like 224, whatever. And he says, well, look, I can come put the work in. And he actually let him know that, no, he was not in fight shape at this point. That, but he can come give him some work, And then all of a sudden, they call him back and ask him, like, yeah, like, will he be able to actually fight? And he's like, what you mean? Like, so they explained to him, like, well, he want to fight you. Jake wants to fight with you. Well, what they was basically doing was just trying to make sure that they had every advantage to their favor. So, okay, he's not in shape. Okay, he's way over the weight limit that we're going to fight at. I mean, 200, 224 is that's a lot of weight to lose. Okay, so, and that amount of time on top of that. And so basically, and that's draining. So basically now you're coming in there, your weight is down, if you make weight, but at the same time, you may not, it may not, it may not be healthy. We don't know that yet. But also what he put in there, he stipulated that for every pound over 200, he loses 25%. So with the rehydration clause, just imagine if Hasim came in it, afterwards, and he's like 210. Just imagine. It's 25% for every pound that he goes over. They didn't stipulate that. The video of Hasim Rahman, you could watch it, where he's explaining all of this stuff, and basically, it's like, this is like some bozo shit. And I'm just watching Jake. He's sitting there with all these fake made-up belts that he went and got made himself. And see, that right there is the kind of goofball shit. Like, people talk, oh, that's pretty ballsy of him. No, it's not ballsy, because first off, you're having a guy come down and fight you 20, 25 pounds lighter than what he normally fights at, and have a rehydration clause in it. And then two, you also are sitting here with belts that you made. You didn't win anything. Who did you beat? Right? Who did you beat? Nobody. You didn't beat anybody for a belt. You have these belts made. He's sitting there with the belts laid across, and he's holding, it's like, okay. Now, Jake Paul strikes me as a guy, he seems like an asshole. He just seemed like the kind of person that you just won't like him. Like you want to punch him in the mouth if you meet him in person. Like being around him. You ever work somewhere and you know everybody's doing their job. You got the bozos playing around, throwing shit across, just doing stupid stuff, and they're grown and you're looking at them like really. And then you have to actually say something to them because you see they're not going to stop it on initiative. He just seemed like one of those guys. Now, that being said, he don't seem like a likable guy, and a lot of people are actually getting sick of his shit. And they're like, "Yo, Hasim, I want you to knock this guy out." So, with all that being said, the rehydration clause and all of the bullshit games, and what Jake is trying to do as far as trying to portray himself as a real fighter, okay? Like, in other words, he just said Hasim ain't shit. Nobody's know him. You're not worth shit. So why would you want to fight him? Which is why I said, well, yeah, why wouldn't you fight Kenzie Morrison? Because he beat him. So if you wanted to prove that, why wouldn't you give him that opportunity? But you fight the loser instead, right? So he clearly feels comfortable and confident because he doesn't think Hasim Rahman, is that good of a fighter as well. So just a little front he's trying to put on. Um, Hasim Rahman Jr., whatever, where he stands in terms of his talent, his skill level, um, he makes too many mistakes, man. So what I look at is like this. Can his cherry pick go wrong? Yes, it can. And no matter what, all the contract stipulations and all that, the fact that it's going to happen, then not personally, because I don't know either one of them personally, but for the sake of the right thing happening, if Jake wins legit, then he's the better man. If Hasim Rahman wins legit, then he's the better man. But what I would like to see happen is for Hasim Rahman to beat Jake Paul's ass, put him in his place, and like he said, put it into this facade. Because you're handpicking people, and then you're talking like you just beat Canelo. You're talking like you just went out and beat Usyk or Tyson Fury or Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. You're talking like you just went out and beat somebody like that. And no disrespect to Hasim Rahman, but Hasim Rahman, you're right, he's not well known. Just because a fighter's not well known doesn't mean that they're not good. But he makes too many mistakes. He's not that good. He's really not. Okay? And that's when you heard Jake Paul, you ain't shit. You ain't worth shit. Right. That's why you wanted to fight him. So, pause. All right, so I would like to see, you know, the best man gonna win, put it like that. So it's not so much about a prediction, but Hasim Rahman Jr. himself. Now he said Jake is a real fighter and he can fight. He respects him. He take a good shot. Hasim Rahman Jr. don't hit that hard. Okay, he's not fast, and like I said, he makes too many mistakes, and I feel like Jake is comfortable with things that he saw where he know he can capitalize. So even for the goofball things that he was pulling off in the actual sparring match, like his team telling him not to switch southpaw, not to don't do this, don't do that, and I literally was saying like, yo, don't knock him out, whatever, man, whatever you do, don't. And Hasim Rahman said, like the last 30 seconds of the last round that they sparred, he switched southpaw. He didn't even do nothing. He just wanted to see how he react to it. But he said that the reason, in the video, if you guys saw or didn't see, where at the end of the sparring match, where he's like getting mad at Jake and he's like really getting heated, and you hear him say, "I'm gonna tell you one time, get that camera out my face." It's because basically, he said he had 4 guys with cameras in there, and so basically what they were trying to do was they're gonna chop and screw the video, and the things that they're telling Jake, Hasim Rahman to not do. So they're gonna edit the video, try to put it together to make it look like Jake was in there dominating. Same thing that Conor McGregor did to Paulie Malignaggi. And here's the thing: even calling off his sparring, he's much bigger than Paulie. Paulie wasn't in shape, and from what Paulie said, they gave him bullshit treatment. And pretty much they tried to show certain parts of the video where it like Conor was really doing his thing. Now, I don't respect things like that. You know, if you're at a novice level or world class level, be real. Be real to the people. I'm not into all this nonsense. Everybody is so into this whole where's money? He get money. This whole what they call entertainment, whatever nonsense. Lying to people is not entertainment. It's lying. That's it. So I would like to see Hasim beat Jake's ass, like really beat the shit out of him, and show the people like, look, man, real fighter, whatever. This is the level he's on. But at the same time, I just think that Jake saw something in him. He sees something in Hasim that he feels confident in. And the mistakes that he make, maybe he didn't take advantage or try to in the sparring because maybe he doesn't really want Hashem to catch on to what he has, you know, to beat him with. And I just feel like, with the type of mistakes that he makes honestly more critical mistakes than Jake does, even though he has more experience. So that's all it is you're fighting a guy that has more experience, more fights, but he's not like levels and levels up here, where you're fighting some guy that's like really highly skilled. That's not Hassan Rahman Jr. So, um, like I said, it's not so much of a prediction, but if Hassan Rahman could correct those mistakes he make, and basically his biggest thing, along with his slow feet, his slow hands, his lack of power, his switching his feet when he throw punches off balance shit he does, like reaching, getting careless, getting overly cautious to land a shot, leaving himself open after he throw every punch, whether it's a jab, hook, uppercut, body shot, head shot. He leaves himself wide open. Um, he leads with his chin when he comes forward to throw punches. I just feel like Jake is going to capitalize on those type of mistakes. I don't know what type of gas tank that Jake has, but I do know that Hassan Rahman, like if he's improved on his stamina, put it that way. Well, Hassan Rahman gets tired 2-3 rounds, he's gassed. So Hasim Rahman is also a counterpuncher, so it's not going to suit him to try to come after Jake with an aggressive style because that's not his style. And I believe if he does that, I believe he's going to walk into something and get knocked out. Now, we'll see come fight night, but I think Jake, whatever he saw, I think is vital. The things that he see, I think he believe he and his team see the same things I see. You know, I hope Hasim Rahman beat his ass, but at the same time, I think Jake, like I said, he picked this fight for a reason. And, if it backfires, then it backfires. If not, but he needs to stop disrespecting the sport of boxing. People don't see it like that. Example, yes, a great thing that he did as far as increasing the pay for female fighters. That's wonderful. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, but at the same time, how you that one thing has nothing to do with the other. And how you treat this particular fight. Well, like you heard Hasim Rahman say, I'm the highest level opponent you ever faced, but I'm taking the least amount of money out of everybody you fought. And the type of things that people try to, people that's not fighters have never fought and been in the ring. You guys, it's easy for you to sit up and say, oh, if it was me, I'd do this. It's not you, and it wouldn't be you. And you don't know what the fuck you do because you've never been there before. So my whole thing with that is, these little games and things that they try to do to try to take you off your square. You know, how you gonna spar with a person and tell them they can only use this style? Oh, yo, don't knock them out. Don't throw power shot. Like, I mean, what kind of sparring is that? So basically, what it reminds me of. You ever watch those wrestling matches where it's the type of thing where the GM comes out and he hates the good guy, so he has him going against a bad guy. He'll say, this match is going to be, 2 out of 3 falls. All of a sudden, the good guy wins the 2 out of 3 falls. Then he sends another opponent down, right? This is going to be a last man standing match. Okay, he knocks him out. He's the last one standing. This is going to be a handicap. You just keep sending, he's trying to stack the odds against him until he finally gets a win and get him out of there. That's what their sparring was like. They're constantly, trying to handicap Hasim Rahman from being able to actually perform. And again, they're gonna chop and screw the video to try to show and piece it together, where, you know, um, it looks like Jake Paul, is getting the better of him. I mean, you can take any home run hitter in Major League Baseball. They put a video package together. They're going to show you nothing but home runs, right, in all the good plays. They're not going to show you all the times that they got struck out. So basically, that's the type of head games that they try to play. Um, and if you're going to do that, and people are saying it's ballsy of him because he's fighting a guy like Hasim Rahman. Hasim Rahman is not a highly skilled fighter. So stop it, all that. Like I said before, we've seen fighters like 6-0 fight a guy 16-2 or 16-3, and he goes in there and crush that guy with 16, with the 16 wins, and he's like, yeah, that guy got more fights than me, but guess what? I'm better than him. So for Hasim Rahman to give Jake Paul his props and say that no, he can fight, he is a real fighter. Okay then. So this is my point. You guys watching are looking at him like he's not. This is just the early stages of his career. You understand what I mean? And you know that the person that you would have the most success against is who? Your sparring partner. And what do fighters always say? I don't like fighting my sparring partners because they know my style, and then vice versa. But at the same time, it's like the guy that's the consummate professional. He's not studying his sparring partner, but his sparring partner is studying him. And then also, let's understand something. Hasim Rahman Jr.'s his the work wasn't to go over there and try to knock Jake Paul out and make him look bad. It was to give him work to help him to get better. But Jake being an asshole, like he said, running around jumping up on the turnbuckle, doing some WWE stuff, and still, and all this, and then he turned around and ran from him in the fight. Did a pull up AJ situation. All of those things, all of those things. You listen to Jake Paul talk, whether on his podcast or what, you can tell he's like an asshole. He's like the type of person, like, like I said, in real life, you wouldn't like that guy. Like, he's one of those. He just has that type of mentality. Hasim Rahman Jr. seems like to be a likable guy. Okay, but again, none of that's going to mean nothing come fight night. And I don't, it's not, like I said, if Hasim Rahman can correct his many, many mistakes, or if he can land something and get Jake out of there, okay. But again, Rock does not hit hard. He's not fast. And he doesn't have any signature things that he does like that's really effective. He just, you want to be famous or something, Pink? Damn cat. So they're trying to stack the cards against him so they can look good, and I don't respect that kind of shit, man. You know, and you make it the stipulations. We don't, Jake doesn't have to worry about going up past 200, or none of that works against him. Let's say if he did. Now, let's say Jake comes in at 210, 220. It doesn't work against him, but it works against Hasim Rahman. And that's ballsy. That's fair. Nah. And like Hasim said, if you was that guy, if you really felt that good, you fight me at heavyweight. And Jake Paul can make more than 200 pounds. In fact, until this Bridgerweight thing and all that, whatever. Bottom line is, anything past 195 is heavyweight. Roy Jones, he went in there and fought, John Ruiz. He was 199 pounds. And so yeah, Jake Paul, same thing. 199, 200, same thing. So if you really wanted to show you're that good, he could have fought Hasim Rahman at heavyweight, but see, he know that's the thing. Nah, because he don't want the comfort zone. He could come in there over 200 pounds. Well, he got the frame for it. But yeah, if he stays in his lane like KSI, like Dean the Great, and all these other guys that they're coming up and they're fighting, they're boxing, that's all good. But like I said, man, once you start running your mouth and saying a whole bunch of nonsense, talking like you're better than Canelo or Anthony Joshua or any of these world class fighters, telling Eddie Hearn I'm better than more than half of the fighters on your stable and all that type of stuff is like fighting Hasim Rahman, even if you win, doesn't prove that at all. You know, and on top of that, if you're talking about Eddie Hearn's stable, the majority of the fighters you're looking at are who? Who was you talking about? You know, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to welterweights and middleweights because that's pretty mostly what he has. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, when you talk about step up in competition, well, I believe Hasim Rahman is better than Tommy Fury, for damn sure. And that seems like that's the next move that he's going for. Win, lose, or draw against Hasim Rahman is Tommy Fury. So why don't you go after Kenzie Morrison? Right? You want to go up, not backwards. So we're not going to baby him through this whole thing. And when I sit there and watch fighters fight for undisputed, and then you have undisputed fighters who are still, people still don't want to give Shakur Stevenson his props. They still don't want to give Jamel Charlo his props. They're still, you know, don't want to give Devin Haney his props. You know, Errol Spence, one belt short. They still are talking about him like he doesn't belong in the ring with Terrence Crawford or something. They still don't want to give him his credit. And to see them work their asses off and fight these guys and get belts and don't get their recognition, and to see a guy who's all about entertainment sitting there with a bunch of phony, fake, made-up belts sitting across the table. And we've heard fighters, and we've heard, you know, commentators and different boxing personalities talk about how belts don't mean nothing. You can have all these belts, these made-up belts, okay. That's my thing. There was no sanctioning body that these belts came from. This guy went in and got a bunch of belts. So for every time he fight, he makes a belt to represent that victory. So he got these fake belts sitting up there. Those belts, he doesn't defend them. They have no value to him. They're just made up belts that he made. So I'm watching all of that and I'm like, yeah, this is some circus shit right here, man. So, you know, my thing is fighters need to step up and say something, man. Like I always said, like I said about Kimbo Slice. Kimbo Slice was a guy, people would say he's overrated. No, Kimbo Slice was never overrated. He was never overrated. Like I told you guys, Kimbo Slice was a YouTube sensation because of his street fight videos. And that just, you know, blew up. And Dana White, the guys had an idea. He didn't go to UFC first. I think it was Bellator, but he knocked out Tank Abbott, you know, who basically was, you know, towards the end of his career and was a brawler, basically. You know, like right with them big bouncers, just, you know, tuck his chin and just start swinging. Kimbo knocked him out. You know, Kimbo was just about fighting. Kimbo himself said, I'm not a boxer, I'm not an MMA guy, I'm a street fighter. Kimbo had heart, though. You know, they just pushed Kimbo too fast, but Kimbo wasn't doing the dumb shit that Jake and Logan is doing. He just was about the fights now in terms of marketing and making a brand out of yourself. Yeah, they did all of that, and they was smarter, more business savvy than Kimbo was. You know, put it that way. But you know, Kimbo Slice was a fighter, and win, lose, or draw, he was gonna come and try to fight, try to win. You know, Kimbo didn't have a good gas tank. And you know he did MMA and he did boxing, but you saw the guy go in there and try his best, and he basically just, you know, was a street fighter that was put in a situation where it only gonna get tougher. You know, he didn't have the right people around him. Nah, Kimbo, we gonna move you this way. We not gonna give you these guys right now. You know, let him get better. And I just think MMA wasn't Kimbo's thing. I think he was more suited for boxing. Like in fact, if bare knuckle brawling was around as a sport like it is now, like a sanctioned sport like it is now, that's probably what Kimbo would have did. You know, but yeah, you know, I see him going that route more than anything else. But yeah, he ended up boxing, and you know, and Kimbo had a lot of respect from a lot of people, man, because of the way he carried himself. You know, but we see what's gonna happen come fight night, and I just think that as far as where Jake Paul goes from here if he wins, you know, he's looking at Tommy, and that's a step back. If Hasim Rahman Jr. lose, Hasim, I keep up. I'm so used to saying Hasim because of his dad, but if Hasim Rahman Jr. loses, I mean it's back to the drawing board for him, and that would be two losses in a row. And it's like, where do you go from here? You know, who do you go after next? Um, See, Jake Paul can call out Tommy Fury, and it's okay. Hasim Rahman Jr. called out Tommy Fury. And it's like, why are you fighting that guy? You understand what I mean? So, and here's the crazy part. Hasim Rahman Jr. answered a question on one of his interviews, and they asked, was this the biggest payday of his life? He said yes, against Jake Paul. So that goes to show you what I'm saying. And when you hear Jake saying you ain't shit, you ain't worth shit, nobody knows you, he's basing all his popularity stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with it. But again, you know, these guys are coming in. The zone is like, hey, and all these, hey, get a card together, put you guys out there. They got rappers, Blueface, all these guys now coming in, jumping in the ring, fighting on Triller and all that. These guys are making way more money than these world-class fighters. But it's not about hating on them or trying to stop what they're doing. They just need to stay in their goddamn lane. Jake Paul said 3-4 years from now he wants to be light heavyweight champion of the world. So if he's serious and he really want to do this, then we'll see how far he goes. But 3 or 4 years from now, if that's really a logical, a realistic goal for him, you're gonna have to fight way better people than Hasim Rahman. And basically, light heavyweight, you're gonna burn weight down and come down to fight smaller guys. Now does he want to stay there? Does he want to get it out? Whatever. It's way too soon to even be thinking about that. But that was what he said. So, like I said, you got to turn up to fight way better people. Way better people. And he better remember something too. You got guys like David Benavidez and certain other guys who may end up being, Beevil, guys that already is at 175. Benavidez probably more than likely wind up going up, whatever. Look at who's still around, Shit, Jake Paul might end up going to cruiserweight because ain't no real names there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's an easier route. I might go here and unify, You might wind up doing that. But we'll see. I doubt 3 or 4 years from now that it's realistic that he'll actually, do what he's saying. But he's talking, he's putting a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, man, it's this circus stuff that they do. I'm not into that, man. It's not entertaining to me. It's not ballsy for you to try to drain a fighter and then try to give them all this bullshit, to have them worried, to keep them from really focusing on the fight. And the same thing, rules that apply to them don't apply to you. It's not ballsy, man. It's a handicap. It's a handicap, man. Even kids grow up while they're still kids. There's a time when you let your kids beat you at something because hey, you the champ. Raise their hand and they like, Pop, don't let me win. Play me hard. Don't let me win. And you like, I'm growing up now. Because they start to realize, yeah, daddy let me win just to make me happy. But I don't want to think I'm better than what I am. Jake, like I said, man, he's an asshole, man. You can see that. That's just stuff that he says and does. So we'll see how it goes. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Who y'all think gonna take it? Jake Paul or Hasim Rahman Jr.? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.